game is just played. Come after me! I'm a man! I'm for you! Can't wait! Let's go!
Welcome back to another episode of Sideline to Sideline, where we will recap last week's NFL action, preview this week's action, and we'll talk about some things around the league. Now, last week we talked about playoffs, so we're not going to get into that again this week. There has been some changes, though. I did give my wild prediction on Monday night that Chicago Bears will get that 7 seed in the NFC. I know you guys might think I'm crazy, and that's okay, but I need to start the show with that. But I want to start by introducing the Prince of Production from Sports Empire Network, the King, Kyle Edwards. How you feeling tonight, brother?
I'm good. The worst thing is that the season's coming down to an end already. It's been so unpredictable, but yeah, I'm just glad to be here another week to talk about what's going on in this wild season of the NFL.
Well, I'm glad to talk about another week of NFL action. But before we do that, we got to talk to my Taking It Deep brother with the Godfrey, the THEEGODFREY. My brother from another. How you feeling tonight? The Godfrey.
Feeling good. It's the witching hour of the NFL season. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of storylines, a lot of things that should happen or haven't happened. So it's 3 games on Saturday this week. I'm digging that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that's a little weird to me. I don't like that. Not a fan.
I mean, what are we missing out on?
My red zone just becomes way less fun on Sunday.
That's, I could see that, but I kind of like the games being spread out that way. I can watch them. I mean, if I could have football 5 days a week, which whenever I'd be all about that. 7 days, but it can't happen. I mean, I hear you.
You're getting it 5 days a week: Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. It's 5 days.
Sort of. Yeah, I hear you. I wish the Thursday. Yeah, Thursday wasn't Raiders Chargers.
It's a great game to start the week with. It's a great game. Raiders Chargers. Aiden O'Connell versus Easton Stick. That's the game we all want to tune in for, right?
I mean, at least most of us will probably get to see who Easton Stick even is. I have no idea who that guy is.
Easton Stick, I believe. I'm gonna just pull it up real quick. I don't want to make sure. I believe he's a quarterback out of Washington.
Okay.
North Dakota State. I apologize. North Dakota State. Easton Stick.
Mentored by Carson Wentz.
Probably. They're the same time. 2014. They hung out together. No Josh Jacobs. No Justin Herbert. Obviously.
Keenan Allen.
No Keenan Allen. It's a Quentin Johnson night.
It better be. If they're going to have a chance.
But we got to recap some NFL action from this past week. So the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely got abused again by the Dallas Cowboys. If you want to hear a full breakdown of the game, of the biggest game of the week, Birds Deep just happened, and that's okay. We're not going to go too far there. They got abused by Dallas again last week. This back-to-back weeks. Are the Philadelphia Eagles fraudulent?
That's a strong word to use.
Yes.
Fraudulent, and they're not a contender. They're fraudulent?
They're not a Super Bowl contender.
I'm going to say no. They're not fraudulent.
Yeah, I don't know if I could go that far after just 2 weeks like this. You know, I get it. The issues that are with the Eagles have kind of been there all season. So if you believe that they won't figure it out this year, then I can see you saying that they're fraudulent. Because coming into the year, they seemed like they were one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. So I get that. I just wouldn't call them fraudulent because I still say there's enough time for them to hopefully figure things out. But once again, we're like 15 weeks in. Is there any hope for that to happen this year?
There's 5 teams that can win the Super Bowl in the NFL. 5.
Because I was going to ask if you thought they were fraudulent. Like, how long is your list of?
So like there's 5 teams that win Super Bowl. I think there's 6th best team in football. Is that fraudulent? I guess I don't know. I think there's 6th best team in football.
You got the Ravens, you got the Niners, the Cowboys ahead of them.
Yep.
Who else do we got? You got the Chiefs ahead of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have the Chiefs.
Super Bowl pedigree. I don't care. Super Bowl pedigree. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. I trust them more.
Okay. I mean,
and Miami
they lost to the Bills and the Bengals last year, still in the Super Bowl.
Listen, say what you want. I think that the Philadelphia Eagles have problems that cannot be fixed and cannot be addressed until the offseason. Sean Desai is an issue. I've said this time and time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the defensive coordinator's problem. Their offense is not schematically as good as it was last year. I'm done with it. Can we talk about another team that can win the Super Bowl? Let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs played a game versus the Buffalo Bills that Buffalo won and won fairly. I want to bring this up because Mr. Kadarius Toney is a problem, and yet we're going to sit here and say that it's a call from the officials. It's not an official call. Kadarius Toney was offsides. If you check the official or not, here's the issue I have with Kadarius Toney. Forget the call. The ball was thrown to Travis Kelce. When they showed the angle that has the whole field, do you guys know what Kadarius Toney was doing?
He was petitioning for the ball, or he wasn't. He was happy.
He was jumping up and down because Patrick Mahomes didn't throw him the football. That Travis Kelce caught and then internally threw him the ball and he scored a touchdown. Kadarius Toney's a problem. Patrick Mahomes, listen, some people hate him. Some people don't like the way he acted like a baby. I think he acted like a baby. I'm not a Britney fan. Should never have been.
He acted like a baby back bitch.
Not a Jackson fan. Didn't like the way he handled himself. However, still like him. I'm still a fan. Still the best quarterback in football. And he behaved like an immature child. The way he handled it with Josh Allen was ridiculous. And I want to bring up a point that a lot of people aren't talking about. Let's say the penalty wasn't called.
Mm-hmm.
Or was.
Oh, wasn't. No, okay. Wasn't called. Do you not give the Buffalo Bills a better than 50% chance of going down the field and scoring with a minute 30 and 3 timeouts?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So did it really cost them the football game?
Well, that's what I ask all the fans when there's time left and they say something cost the team a football game. I'm like, well, what would the rest of the game been? Fans seem to forget that and ignore it and don't want to extrapolate that part of the game. And, and the same reason for why that you're citing is the same reason why I think the Chiefs aren't a Super Bowl contender. How do they let a guy like Kadarius Toney, who's nobody, he had one good game against the Cowboys 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, be a problem on that team? He's nobody.
Chase, our resident WWE and Chiefs guy, has said this perfectly. The reason that they won't get rid of Kadarius Toney is because the front office and Andy Reid do not want to admit that they gave away draft capital as a mistake. That's the reason.
What did they trade for him?
A third rounder? Was it a third rounder? Chase will tell you in the chat. I see him listening.
I think this isn't funny, but I listen. This is deja vu for me as an Eagles fan, and I've told Gene this, and he said he's used it. 2003 Eagles is what I'm looking at right now. Okay, Andy Reid's great. He's a great coach, one of the best of all time. But he wasn't revered like he is now until he got Patrick Mahomes. I'm seeing stuff. They'd made timeout mistakes in that game. That's resident of the Eagles game. As long as Andy Reid was there, he always had problems with timeouts. As brilliant as he is, for some reason he couldn't figure that out. And then when they make moves like this, they hold on to it. The fireman. He drafted a fireman in the first round. Danny Watkins. Remember that? People don't remember that. So my point is, watching the Chiefs now is like watching a repeat from the Eagles in 2003 and the way their team's constructed. He has found a way, that front office, to put the best quarterback of football in a behind position before they even start every game. Think about that. He's playing from behind talent-wise. Kelsey's a little bit longer in the tooth, and the receiver room is putrid. There you go. I mean, and they said, you know what? We're going to bring Kadarius Toney in, and he's going to be the answer. The Giants couldn't get anything out of him. We'll get something out of him. Wrong. He's the newest version of Percy Harvin. Play some more games than him, but I'm sorry, the dude is hurt all the time. He's on the Giants, and then he doesn't have enough presence of mind to be in the football game. His head's not in the game. His head is in what I can get. It's me, me, me. The guy's not a team player, and they're allowing that on the Chiefs. Tells me they're not a contender.
I will say this though: you can say that all you want, but if you look at the AFC playoff picture, you're gonna ask me, you have more confidence in the Dolphins, who blew a 2-touchdown lead with 3 minutes left to the Tennessee Titans. Lamar Jackson has won one playoff game in his life. Like, who do you have more confidence in the AFC than the?
Well, the Dolphins made a critical mistake by thinking, "Oh, we could just win this game without Tyreek Hill." Wow, Tua seems like his kryptonite when he doesn't have Tyreek Hill. I mean, it was obvious as day.
Okay,
There's
so
no
who do
way
you have
they
more confidence in? Who comes out of the AFC if it's not Kansas City? So you're telling me you have confidence in one playoff win, Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
the
that's fair.
AFC is watered down and not what we all expected to be as the dominant force this year because of injury,
It's
because
injury.
and listen, that's just the way it is. But when I look at the Chiefs, they have the inability to score over 20 points, and and
I
they're
will
whining
tell
every
you right
week.
now, the Chiefs have a budding superstar on that team, and by the name of Rashee Rice.
They do.
You bet, and if Rashee Rice continues to develop the way he's developing, and Travis Kelce produces the way we know Travis can, and Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in football, and Andy Reid is still one of the best play callers in football, and that defense continues to play good football, I still like the Chiefs. I like their chances.
Yeah, well, their biggest problem last week was missing Isaiah Pacheco, and that would have made a huge world of difference last week. People weren't talking about that enough. Rasheed Rice was still able to perform, but they still need one more playmaker, and Pacheco is that guy outside of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Rasheed Rice. Listen, they whine for penalties all year. They've been whining all year for penalties. They were doing it in the Packers game. Like they're like, we're not getting the calls we're supposed to get. Wah! How can that team say that? How can they say that after the Super Bowl, after the Bengals game last year in the playoffs? That is so fraudulent. It makes me want to throw up. And when people defend him, I know you're a Chiefs fan or you had a bet on the game. There's no way you could defend that. No way. The way he reacted to Josh Allen when he got off the field was such a BS way worst call ever. How about he beat you? Josh Allen's gotten beat on bad calls. Come on, Patrick. It's so fraudulent. They're entitled. They're entitled.
Good, Kyle.
No, but that was definitely the worst part of the Mahomes stuff. It was like, you can be upset about the call, but once it's over, if Josh Allen's coming over to you to be like, good game or whatever, Josh Allen doesn't need to hear how you think about the call. Just let it go at that point. And I do agree with you, Gene, that yes, the Chiefs aren't necessarily playing like they have the past couple of years, but this is the year for them to limp into a playoff and still make it out because, like you said, you're putting a lot of faith in Lamar to all of a sudden win a big game in January. We haven't seen it. We don't know what that looks like.
And last week was the first game he's
Fair
played in
question.
December
Right.
for 3 years.
Fair question. Oh, those are all fair questions, fair statements. I mean, it's
All right, well, Kyle, we got to move on to you. It's your turn. Bill Belichick.
Yep.
Reports are he's not coming back to New England.
Mm-hmm.
Reports are that they made the decision after the Colts game in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? By the way, I'm not going to lie to you. This is not a joke, and you can laugh at me, call me emotional all you want. But when the New England reporters were asking Bill Belichick about coming back, and he kept saying, "We're on to Kansas City," I almost shed a tear. I almost felt like sad because you're talking about a guy that's given his heart and soul and 6 Super Bowls to that franchise. What are your thoughts on? I think that it's an abomination if this information came out during the season. It should never happen this way.
I completely agree. And as John put, look, Kraft has fallen in love with Gerard Mayo. Gerard Mayo was like the prototypical Patriot. He, didn't play a glamour position at linebacker, but he was always there. He's now in the coaching staff. He was supposed to get the Carolina interview, and some thought he may have even gotten that job if he interviewed. Kraft got him to stay. So obviously, Kraft knew that, Mayo was probably the guy to succeed Belichick. he put a lot of pressure on Belichick in the offseason because Kraft has been upset at the past couple of years. Reportedly, the Matt Patricia thing infuriated Kraft and infuriated most Patriot fans. And then now you look at this season, the same issues are there. The wide receiver position, it's a mess. The quarterback position, a mess. The O-line, a mess. So, Robert Kraft is getting, I don't know. I do agree that the report makes no sense because Kraft doesn't want to fire him midseason. He doesn't want that to be a talking point. The way Kraft wanted it was at the end of the season, the two of them talk, you come out with their mutually parting ways, and you leave it like that. But now with this, it's like, is he a lame duck coach? And that's disrespectful to a guy who, remember what it was before Belichick? It was Pete Carroll, basically as a 9-7, 8-8 team year in and year out.
What grade were you in grade school then? How long ago was that? Were you in 6th grade or something? Wearing a puffy starter Patriots coat?
I'm trying to think where I probably was, about that young. And, he went through the Drew Bledsoe years, the Parcells stuff. Belichick had the 1-day contract with Cleveland and took the job. And it was just I didn't think he was going to last this long. And it is kind of sad seeing that these might be the final days of him. But hey, if it brings on Gerard Mayo, I'm for it. Because like Eugene, I love seeing minority coaches getting a chance. He would be another one.
So
I just hope he gets the opportunity to actually get a few years in there. But I don't know. It's sad.
So I want to bring light to something someone said in the comments. John Suggs, what Crafty's to fire the GM the same day. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, right? I do agree with you guys that I do think it's disrespectful. He's a coaching legend, and I thought that Robert Kraft will want the guy there when he becomes the all-time winning his coach in the NFL. So that being said, let's play devil's advocate here. What if Kraft has a conversation with Bill Belichick? Listen, I want you to stay here, but you have to give up the GM position. And we have to put light on, what was it, 3 tight ends he did in the draft one year. And, he's made some bad personnel moves. He's done some bad personnel evaluation. We've seen this with Andy Reid at Philadelphia, and then he goes and becomes a coach only in Kansas City, has a lot of success. And I think, what if there's a power struggle and he doesn't want to give that up? You have to fire him if you're him. Now, the way they let it out in the middle of the season, I agree with you guys, disrespectful. I agree 100%. But you have, if he won't relinquish that power, you have to let him go. Because listen, at the end of the day, if you don't have the personnel, you can be the best coach in the world. It's not going to matter. They don't have the quarterback. So I do feel for Bill Belichick because I hear people saying, "Oh, he was never a good coach to begin with." Stop it. If you're saying that, you don't hate that talk. Yes, I hate that. Dude, he changed the game with Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor changed the game, and he was the defensive coordinator behind it. Bill Parcells doesn't win 2 Super Bowls without Bill Belichick. If you don't know your football history, if you sit there and say he's not a good coach and it was only because of that, no coach is good without a damn quarterback. No coach. Okay, I don't care who you are. You don't have a quarterback in the NFL, you're not going to win. That's simple.
Well, I completely agree with you. I felt for him. I felt so poorly for him that he had to answer those questions in front of the media, in which he hoisted 6 Lombardi trophies in front of, and to be asked those questions and still handle it with such professionalism, such class. Listen, I'm not the biggest hoodie guy in the world. I'm not.
Or Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
But show the man some respect, and I don't think he was shown it.
And now you have today reports coming out that report was false. And it's like, I don't want to hear that either. Because you put out the report that he's basically been fired for weeks now. Then maybe you should have checked that before putting it out to now say, oh, it's a false report, just or whatever.
I want to think Kraft isn't that dumb. I mean, listen, I'm 42. I don't know how old you are, Kyle. I guess you're a lot younger than me. Gene, you're definitely older than me. Just kidding.
No.
But you're younger than me.
I was older.
Yeah, I'm not actually a lot.
You're older than us. God damn. We're
I'm 39.
Oh, yeah, you're younger. No, I thought you were younger. Yeah,
He's older than me. I'm 38.
Okay. Yeah, well, listen, I'm the older guy on here, not by a lot. Patriots were trash juice forever, okay? They were a bad franchise, okay? The football gods smiled on them when Mo Lewis knocked out Drew Bledsoe, and then here comes Tom Brady, and he should be kissing his rear end that he brought him 6 rings. You need to let him rate his own check. It reminds me of any given Sunday. Last season, he's there. It's kind of a microcosm of that, how he went out. And I think Bill Belichick might end up being the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. Good defense of personnel there. You got a quarterback. I think he will stick it up their ass next year from the Chargers.
I will say this: if I told you before the season started that the top 6 passing leaders in Week 14 of the NFL for passing yards, I'm going to just play a game with you guys. I have the top 6 sitting in front of me. Can you guys tell me who the top 6 passing leaders by yards were last week?
Last week?
Yes, just Week 14.
Josh Browning was in there, right? Browning?
Nope. He was number 8.
He was number 8. Okay.
I think Bailey Zappi was in the top 6.
He was not. He was number 7.
Oh, no. My guy Zappi.
If he didn't disappear in the second half, he probably would have got that. But
let's see, top 6.
Top 6.
Dak?
It's insane.
Dak had to be there.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Just passing yards. That's it.
I'm at a loss now.
It's wild, right? I'm going to give
Desmond Ritter. Is he on there for some reason?
Desmond Ritter, number 2.
Oh, no.
Yards.
Yeah. Desmond.
What?
Zach
Anthony
Wilson
says Baker.
Zach Wilson, number 6.
Yeah.
Anthony said Baker.
Baker's not on there.
Nope.
Joe Flacco, number 5.
Yeah.
Seen Flacco in there. Lamar Jackson, number 4. Will Levis, number 3. And Brock Purdy, number 1. If I told you they would
check out that week, wow,
that is wild.
Sounds like a pack of wild
week, gentlemen. Wild week. This week we have Thursday Night Football. We have a battle between Easton Stick and Aiden O'Connell. Who had that on their bingo sheet before the season started?
Maybe the O'Connell part.
Easton Stick, though.
Yeah.
What do you guys like tonight? Chargers at Raiders. Listen, John Suggs says, give me the Chargers. I must be the biggest sucker on the planet. I don't know how the hell the Raiders lose this football game. In my opinion, they're playing more inspired football with Antonio Pierce at quarterback. I mean, a coach. They have the better quarterback now with Aiden O'Connell over Easton Stick. They have the better receiving core. They have the better offensive line. They have the better running. Oh, Josh Jacobs not playing this week. But how do the Raiders lose this football game? I feel like the Chargers are almost in tank mode. Everyone knows their coach is getting fired. What is like the swan song for the Chargers to win this football game?
Well, do we know Staley's getting fired? Are they going to use this Herbert injury as a reason to keep him?
He's not getting fired. You're just not going to re-sign his contract.
I mean, I said Bill Belichick go there, but really, in all reality, it's get Kellen Clement. He's the next coach. That's why they brought him in. Come on. I mean, look at the timing of it. You know he's the head coach, next head coach. I don't know what they're playing for. I mean, they've played uninspired all year. The Chargers. I mean, they're the Broncos beat the crap out of them. I mean, Justin Herbert got injured. I don't know, man. And the thing about the Raiders defense, I think Max Crosby is going to have a field day. I don't see, if Antonio Pierce is auditioning for a job, this is the game where you need at home national TV. You need to put your foot on that neck. This is a wounded animal.
John, go look who's not playing for the Chargers. Like, I know that who's not playing for the Raiders, but no Keenan Allen, no Justin Herbert, no Mike Williams, obviously. I don't like who. It's Kellen Moore versus Antonio Pierce. That's the coaching matchup tonight. It's insane. It's a terrible matchup. Give me the Raiders. Give me the Raiders.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, I agree.
But John could be right. Next week, we're talking about how John was right again. He's right a lot. And I did look at the spread. I don't know. It started at 2.5. So you could say it went from 3.5 to 3, but it started at 2.5 and it went to 3.5. Now it's down to 3. So it's not like it.
I made a bet from London once. I was taking a flight back, and it was a year Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. It was Nick Mullins on the 49ers versus the Raiders. John Gruden said, "There's no way the Raiders lose this game." I get off the plane. I'm like, well, just donated that money because Nick Mullins and the 49ers beat him. So these games freak me out because not that Nick Mullins is good. It's just like two trash teams. You just don't know who's not going to show up. Like, I don't know, man. It's tough, but I'm going Raiders. I'm sticking with my guns here.
The Raiders. I don't know. I will read you the parlay. Gene's parlay. Gene just hit for an $1,800 parlay the other day. So Gene is riding high. So here's my same game parlay. You can tail if you like. I have Zamir White running for 50 yards. Think it's doable. Quentin Johnson, 3 receptions, nothing crazy, 40 yards. Austin Eckler, 4 receptions. I think Easton Stick dumps it down to Austin Eckler a couple times. 25 yards receiving, nothing crazy. And Devontae Adams, 60 yards.
You're forgetting one thing about Austin Eckler. He's an avid fantasy football player, and he drafts himself. So he's really in the playoffs already.
I know.
If you don't think that guy wants to power those stats, and if you look at a lot, it's like that a lot. So, I mean, once they get inside the red zone, if they do, I mean, I don't know how this guy's probably like, coach, get me the ball. Like he's probably literally has himself starting, and he's in a fantasy football league in the playoffs. That's hilarious to me. And he talks about it all the time. So, I mean, I'm not making this up. This is coming out of his mouth.
Saturday, you have Minnesota at Cincinnati. You have Nick Mullins, the preconceived Nick Mullins that you just talked about, going up against, Cincinnati, Jake Browning. He's looked great. The game's in Cincinnati. Who do you like this one? I don't think the Minnesota Vikings win another football game this year.
Really? I mean, they're playing great defense, though.
But Brian Flores deserves a head coaching job. If he took that defense and start making them play good defense, I'm floored. I remember in the beginning of the season, we were talking about how bad like the Vikings defense. Let me ask you guys, I'm not trying to be rude here, right? Let's play a game. We'll play a fun game since we're talking about the Vikings defense. I have their depth chart pulled up. I always do. I'm always ready. I want to see you two go back and forth and to see who can't name a Viking defensive player. Just name one, go back and forth and see how you guys do.
I got ace cards in my pocket, but I mean, just start with Harrison Smith.
Okay.
Danielle Hunter.
There we go. We got 2.
Ivan Pace.
Yes, that's 3. Starting Vikings defenders. They got to be starters too.
I almost said Winfield Jr., but he's in Tampa Bay.
I got this. I'm gonna 360 Hakeem Olajuwon on this.
Bynum. Right? I'm kind of running out of names.
Bynum is another starter.
You got to give me his first name.
It begins with a C. Does that count? Kyron Bynum.
Cameron Bynum. That's
Cameron. Bennett.
I'm going to read your stars. Cameron Bynum.
Metellus Bennett.
No, not a starter.
He's not a starter?
Nope. Not on a team.
No, not that Bennett. Are you sure I swear, Metellus?
There's not Bennett on their team.
His last name's Metellus, I think. Anyway, I get your point, but
Danielle Hunter, Dean Lowry, Harrison Phillips, Jonathan Bullard, DJ Wanham, Ivan Pace Jr., Brian Asama, Caleb Evans, Byron Murphy Jr., who I knew him, Harrison Smith, and Cameron Bynum. That's their starters. That team pitched a 3-0 shutout last week. Are you guys out? Yeah. Really? Can we give Brian Flores a fucking head coaching job now? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, what
are we doing?
Yeah, and Josh Dobbs was awful in that game.
They moved him down to 3rd string on the depth chart.
Dude, the real Josh Dobbs has stood up. I mean, I'm sorry.
Hall says they're back up tonight.
I don't blame him, man. Nick Mullins on that one drive put up 59 yards, and I think that's more than Dobbs put up. I mean, wow. I'm sorry, man. He needs to be the 3rd string. I'm going Nick Mullins all day long.
All right, guys. Next game on Saturday.
Bengals win, by the way. Bengals win. Browning's playing good football.
Pittsburgh Steelers, they're on a tailspin. They're going to go at Indy and play the Colts. I think the Colts are a very good coached football team. Give me Shane Steichen and the Colts to beat the Steelers. Run the ball.
Yeah, I'm about to say I can agree with that. I think the Steelers they're reeling, like you said, after the Matt Canada stuff, and they had that opening half right after they looked great. They've kind of fallen back into their old habits of struggling offensively. And I think the Colts are just a better team right now, so I would take the Colts as well.
Godfrey?
Yeah, I mean, Colts are playing some good football. I'm with the Colts there too. I don't see, they are well coached. They're playing a lot better than people thought, and the Steelers are, they're falling apart at the seams. I mean, that Patriots game was very revealing. I think people have a recency bias. They look at the Steelers and they go, "Oh, that's a solid D." No, T.J. Watt is a good player.
Fitzpatrick's pretty good too.
He's pretty good, but in between that, people are having their way with him. I'm sorry, Bailey Zappi ain't the next guy, and he was like, Hunter Henry was like, phew. I was watching again, was like, wow. Remember how everybody took the under on that game? Vegas was like, gotcha.
I like the Colts in that one. The Saturday night game, very good football game. The Denver Broncos, one game out of first place, are taking on the reeling Detroit Lions.
Denver.
You're going Denver?
Yeah, listen. It's in Denver. Is it in Denver or is it in Detroit?
It's in Detroit.
That's tough, man, because Detroit's they are reeling. It's going to be a close game. I'm going to go Detroit just because they're at home here. I mean, they are reeling. You're right, but you can run the ball on Denver. It's very true.
This is the absolute blowout of the week. I'm going to give you guys your best bet of the whole week. It's the easiest play you can ever make in your life. The Detroit Lions are going to stomp Denver. Denver is 32nd in the league against the run. The Detroit Lions are going to run the football with Montgomery and Gibbs 60 times in this football game. They're going to destroy Denver. That's going to be a 38-13 game. I promise you, I would be willing to bet my left testicle on it. The Detroit Lions win this football game, and they win it by 1 million. I'm telling you, it's not going to be close. Bet it. Bet everything you can bet. I'll be putting 500 down on this football game. It's my lock. It's my mortal lock of the year.
I think the Lions win. I think it'll be a lot closer than you think because the Lions' defense is putrid. Look at that Saints game. They got up quick, and all the Saints did was go up and down, up and down, up and down. There's multiple games we could look at the Lions defense getting boat raced by any team that walks in there. Jordan Love.
They get a spark. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Is he back?
He just got activated. It's 21-day practice window got activated. He might not play this week.
I think they got more problems.
Their defense is that putrid. You got Aiden Hutchinson, Anzalone. Brian Branch has been good.
I mean, they got good players, but I mean, look at the games. Look at some of these games they played. I mean,
Damien Hernandez, you can have my spot on the podcast next week if Denver wins. I'm telling you, Denver's not.
I have a weird feeling that Denver pulls this one out. I just don't know. I just think the momentum that they have.
Do an avatar bet?
Huh?
Can we do an avatar bet?
Sure.
Like I can make your avatar for the week. You can make my avatar for the week on this game.
Sure.
Okay. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna get like somebody to make a nice little. The NFL genius is always right, or something like that for you. Nothing crazy.
Okay.
I mean, look, Lions are 38 against the Ravens. Raiders they held to 14. 38 Chargers. 26 for the Bears. 29 for the Packers. 28 for the Saints. 28 for the Bears. I mean, dude, like they are the team that is number one candidate for one and done when they make the playoffs. They got good players, but they don't got enough depth there, man. And people are just having their way with them. I don't. Again, I talk about this all the time, but I think they went wrong in their draft, and maybe long term it works out. But I don't know, man. I think they win 100%. I just think it's going to be a lot closer. I just think their defense can't stop anybody.
The only way they ever lose this football game is if Jared Goff just keeps throwing the ball to the other team. I got to talk about this game because they're back in the playoff hunt. The 8-5 Cleveland Browns with Joe Flacco are hosting the 5-8 Chicago Bears with Justin Fields. Bears coming off 2 straight wins, and they are my pick to make the 7th seed in the NFC playoffs. If they win this football game, the Bears will make the playoffs. I will be putting $50 on the Bears at 12-1 to make the playoffs to win $600. It is a very, very lucrative bet. Obviously, it's not likely, but the odds are insanity. Give me the Bears in this one. I think Justin Fields gives that defense problems. His connection with DJ Moore, and that defense has been number 3 in the NFL since they've got brought over Montez Sweat.
Yeah, that move looks nice, does it not? I mean, he was a monster last week.
Mm-hmm.
I like watching Justin Fields. I watched a lot of that game. But I do not think they'll win this game. I'm sorry, the Browns defense is too good. The Bears have been playing a lot better. I think you're going to get an old school beat 'em up game, and I think the Browns win a close one. I just, I mean, they're finding ways to win games with how many different quarterbacks this year? 4? 4 different quarterbacks have won a game this year? 4.
I really think the Bears get to Joe Flacco this week. And I think that the Bears are really starting to develop that defense, man. Everyone talks about the Bears as being a joke because they remember them in the beginning of the season. Yeah. But they got Jalen Johnson, who they're about to give a huge contract to. Jaquan Brister, Eddie Jackson, Montez Sweat has been great. Tremaine Edmonds has been incredible. Like, they got some names on that defense. The Bears are going to win this football game, guys. I got the Bears making the playoffs. I really do.
You can run the rock against the Bears, though, and the Browns can run the rock.
Okay.
That's what I say. That's going to be the saving grace because the Bears are second against the run. The Browns want to run. So if they force Flacco to throw, their pass defense has been a little iffy. And Flacco's shown the past couple of weeks he can make plays with his arm. That's why I would go with the Browns. I mean, I think the Bears will make it kind of ugly. I mean, the Browns kind of play that way anyway, but I think the Browns win a physical game.
Myles Garrett. I mean,
how about the Battle of the Bay? Tampa at Green, 1:00.
Sneaky, interesting game.
This is another easy one, guys. I'm going to make a lot of money this week. I have every pick. They're all right. I'm going to friggin' sweep the board. I might put $100 pick every game parlay and just be a millionaire next week. I love this game. Love it. This is a prototypical bounce back game for Green Bay coming off of disappointing Monday night loss. Tampa Bay on the letdown after beating Atlanta and being number 1 in the division, having to travel to Green Bay. Green Bay plays a million times better at home than they do on the road. I love the Packers in this spot. Love the Packers in the spot. Give me the Packers. I'll just go. I'm not sleeping on Baker. I have them winning the NFC South.
Yes.
I love what Baker's doing, but I love the Buccaneers to lose this game. I'd like the Packers to win it.
I'm on the opposite side of you. I think the Packers are fraudulent, and I'm going to tell you why. Look at listen, so I had an inkling they would beat, and I have the receipts if you guys don't believe me. I had an inkling the Giants would win, and I waited till the game started, and I live bet it twice. And the reason why is because when they beat the Chiefs, we thought it was more impressive than it was. It wasn't that impressive.
Correct.
And then there's another. Who's the other team they beat right before? We're like, wow, the Lions. Not that impressive to me. So then they walk into there. The Giants defense is a little underrated because they've been playing with a bad quarterback. They got a guy that's managing the game effectively. And when I saw turnovers happening and I saw him having that hitch in his throwing the ball up, I was like, oh boy, here's the real Jordan Love. And I'm not saying he sucks. He may still be developing, but I think the old head coach over there at Tampa Bay knows exactly what to dial up to get to this guy.
See, the funny thing is, I think the exact opposite of the way this game. I think the Packers defense is going to be a perfect matchup for the Tampa Bay offense. You have Jair Alexander shut down Mike Evans, and that Packers defense as a whole has a lot of first-round talent on it. Devondre Campbell, Quay Walker, Devontae Wyatt. They have a lot of really good players. Preston Smith. They have a lot of good players on that Packers defense, and I'm telling you guys right now, I think that the Packers defense versus the Bucs offense is the matchup to look out for in this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is one I can go back and forth with. Like, when you look at Tampa Bay defensively, they kind of get turnovers, and they're pretty good at getting to the quarterback. Kind of what Godfrey was saying, the past couple of weeks with Jordan Love, some of those passes have looked like they're asking to be picked off. But I kind of agree with you, Gene, that the Packers, because it's in Green Bay, I would give them the advantage here. And I'm also like you. I think Baker leads that team to the NFC South title. But yeah, I would say Green Bay wins this one this weekend.
I would take the Bucs with the 3.5 points. Give me that hook. It's going to be a close game. Listen.
If you're betting at home, I want to give you guys a little piece of advice. The 2.5 and 3.5 lines are very telling. When Vegas makes a game 3.5, they're trying to get you to bet the dog because they're saying you can get 3 points. They can win or they can lose by a field goal. And if Vegas makes the spread 2.5, they're trying to get you to bet the favorite. Oh, they only have to win by a field goal. Guys, be weary of the 2.5, 3.5 rule. Whenever I see a 3.5 points spread, I love the favorite in the game. All right, next game on the docket. See, there's some good games this week, but you can't really – I don't know how to predict this one. The Houston Texans are going to Tennessee to play the Titans. CJ Stroud is still in protocol. So I'm going to abstain from picking this game because I don't know until I know if CJ Stroud's playing. If Stroud plays, I'm taking Houston. Tennessee on the letdown, short week. If CJ Stroud doesn't play, it's just too much against the Texans. The Texans are missing their number 1 receiver, number 2 receiver. Their starting quarterback. It just seems too much. Rabel's got that team playing well. I'll go the Titans reluctantly right now because I don't think Stroud plays.
Wait, is the Texans defense in concussion protocol after giving up 30 second half points to Zach Wilson? Because
that was a lot to do with I think that was a lot to do with the Texans offense not being able to move the ball. There's a lot of short fields there, a lot of turnovers. But yeah, I get it. That's fine. Zach Wilson did move the football. Davis Mills will be starting for the Texans if CJ Stroud doesn't play.
I think Davis Mills is one of the more capable backups in the league, to be honest. He just, I think, you're right though. They're missing a lot of talent on the team, but you still have Noah Brown. You have some depth there.
Noah Brown might not play. Nico Collins might not play.
Wow.
They're both
out. That's tough, man.
Out.
Yeah. Is it in Tennessee or Houston?
Bobby Trees looks like their number 1 receiver this week.
Bobby Trees.
Been around forever. I'm still going to go with the Texans here.
Will Anderson's not playing. It's a lot out. A lot of people out.
I'm taking the Titans. I can't put faith in – like if Davis Mills had everybody available around him, I could hear your argument there, Godfrey, but you're asking him to now beat a Titans team like Gene said. Vrabel's got them playing well with, Robert Woods is the number 1 wide receiver. Defense has injuries.
Dude, CJ Stroud's playing. There's no way he's not. I don't care what he says. Listen,
he's still in protocol. It's kind of tough for him.
Listen, I am not a believer that the NFL and these teams go strictly by the protocol. There's gamification there when it comes to that. If you believe that, look at it closely. There's certain players that there wouldn't even be a question, right? I'm telling you, he's going to play. I guarantee it. He's going to play. There's no way.
Okay.
I just look at the NFL. I mean, he's still on concussion protocol. I mean, have we not seen people like, oh, they're out. It's Saturday. They're out. They're ready to go. Like, we haven't seen that before. Like,
yeah, we have. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. So that's why I'm not. As a young quarterback,
on a short week, I say yes, but it's not. So,
all right, we got 3 games in the 1 o'clock hour that I want to touch on quickly, and then I want to move into one more game in the 1 o'clock hour to kind of break down. Jets, Dolphins. I like the Dolphins to bounce back the games in Miami. Anyone disagree?
Nope. Agree.
Okay. Chiefs, Patriots. I like the Chiefs to bounce back the games in New England. I know Kyle likes his Patriots plus 9.5. Fine. You want to keep the game close. We can all agree that Chiefs are winning the football game, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kyle seems to be on that Bailey Zappi and that Gerard Mayo train.
I'm just saying, don't be surprised if they win that one.
And then the Falcons are playing Carolina. Tickets are as cheap as $11 to get in the ballpark. I'm going to go with Falcons.
Yeah.
You might hate hearing this, Kyle, but Atlanta is a fraudulent sports town sometimes. Okay. I mean,
I fully believe that.
Boston.
I mean, that's right. You just live in Atlanta, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fraudulent sports
Boston,
town.
so I've seen both sides of it, and yes, the city can't compare.
You know what's even more fraudulent? You have Chick-fil-A in the damn stadium, and it's closed on Sundays automatically.
Yes.
What? I mean, I would just stop being a fan just because of that. Like, are you serious? Really?
I don't get it.
All right. Well, the next game I want to break down just for
wait. I didn't get my pick. This is earth shattering here. Are we talking Panthers Falcons? And everybody's been waiting for me to give this pick. Go Falcons. All right, let's go.
We got to talk about Tommy Bag of Donuts DeVito.
Tommy Cutlets.
3-0. Can we please talk about how bad Daniel Jones is? Guys, can we please talk about how bad he is? There's been 3 quarterbacks that have played for New York this year. Tommy DeVito, Daniel Jones, and Tyrod Taylor. And by far, Daniel Jones has looked the worst. Am I wrong by saying that?
No, that's a true statement.
I'm not I still think that overall, I think that the Saints find a way to win this football game. But do we think Tommy Cutlets can do it again?
Yeah, because the Saints, how do you count on the Saints at this point? I mean, we're seeing the stuff of Michael Thomas and all that. That seems like a locker room that's splitting apart. Even though Michael Thomas doesn't play, I don't know why he's even talking, but neither here nor there. I kind of think, I don't know, I feel like DeVito finds a way to get it done. He just seems like that's what he does. I'll take the Giants.
Is Olave out? And is Winston playing? Olave was hurt again.
Dude, talk about New Orleans, the issues that they're having. Their center tried fighting Derek Carr last week.
Yeah.
What was that?
He felt like he was holding on to the ball too long. And
yeah.
Taysom Hill's limited. I think really on the road, the Saints, I mean, they're at home. The Giants should really lose this. But, I mean, let's ride the wave. Tommy Cutlets for the win.
Might as well.
All right, gentlemen.
Comes to Philly and gets extinguished in 2 weeks.
I'm going to ignore the 4:00 games. They're all, except one, the game of the week. Dallas at Buffalo.
Woo!
I love nobody circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills. They're back in the playoff hunt. Joe Brady's got that offense looking incredible. I'll take the Buffalo Bills to win a football game at home versus a Dallas Cowboy team ready to let down. Give me Buffalo.
I guess that depends on how much you believe in this Buffalo turnaround. I don't know if I'm fully there yet. I could see Josh Allen regressing a little bit. Maybe a costly turnover late in the game. I feel like I'm convincing myself that the Cowboys find a way to get it done in Buffalo. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills win, but I'll take the Cowboys.
Don't look at my hat. But I'm going Buffalo. I just have to, I mean, look, they're a different team on the road. They're a completely different team on the road.
As a group, can we sing the Bills fight song? It's the worst fight song in all football.
I don't even know what it is.
No,
You're gonna have to.
Have you ever heard the song "Shout"?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Bills fight song is "The Bills Make Me Want to Shout, Throw My Hands Up and Shout." I
What a
swear to
ripoff.
God, they literally just ripped the song off and threw the Bills in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mean,
that's pretty bad.
I just listen. Do I think the Cowboys have a letdown game and they go up there to beat the Bills are a wounded animal right now, and the Dolphins better be careful because with that loss last Monday, they what an opportunity the Dolphins blew to
the
take the number
most
one seed
expensive ticket in the house this week is in Orchard Park, New York.
because their fans show up.
$178. Give me the Buffalo Bills.
That's the most expensive ticket.
Yep. And normally it's the Eagles game. It's not 2 straight weeks. Last week it was Las Vegas versus the Vikings. Most expensive ticket in the house.
Yeah, that was probably because of Vikings fans. They travel. I don't believe that was because of Raiders.
Listen, Raiders fans are still expensive ticket tonight. It's $113, the lowest ticket in the house. Unlike the Atlanta Falcons, $11 in Carolina. So I got the Buffalo Bills. Let's go Sunday Night Football. We got 10 minutes left. We got 2 games left. The Baltimore Ravens are taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know if I'm going to hope Trevor Lawrence is healthy because I'm taking the Jaguars in this one to beat the Ravens off the emotional win, traveling on the road. Last year, these 2 teams played in Jacksonville. Jacksonville won. I like Jacksonville to win this football game. But I will say this. There's no team that's missed Christian Kirk as much as this Jaguars team has because Zay Jones looked terrible last week versus Cleveland. Give me Jacksonville. The upset. Upset special.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting matchup because Lamar is not known for his passing chops, and Jaguars have a bad passing defense, but a good defensive line. They haven't really looked great, but I gotta go Ravens, man. After I'm watching the Jaguars the last 2 weeks in a row on the defensive side of the ball, they're supposed to have a good D line. They were getting gashed by the run. Jake Brown was out there looking like Joe Montana. Like, listen, Joe Flacco's out there. I'm gonna go with Lamar and the Ravens here. I just think that they're gonna do it.
The Ravens have a really tough schedule down the stretch. They play at Jacksonville, at San Francisco, and then home versus Miami the next 3 weeks. Be a huge test for them. Who do you like in this one, Kyle?
I'm going to go Ravens. I feel like this is going to be one of those games where you won't expect Lamar to do much passing, and you'll see like Zay Flowers with like 9 catches out of nowhere. I just have some weird feeling about that. So I'll take the Ravens. And probably if Trevor Lawrence was probably a little healthier, I might go with him, but he's still going to be somewhat limited by the ankle, and that Ravens defense is pretty good. So I'll take the Ravens.
All righty. Monday Night Football. Philadelphia Eagles at Seattle Seahawks. We got a stinker. 2 terrible teams playing on Monday night. Guys, I'm not happy with Philadelphia Eagles, if you couldn't tell. I'm wearing my black for a funeral because I think their season's fucking dead, right? I have the Eagles winning this one 23-20. I don't think it'll look good. I think, once again, we'll be questioning how good the Philadelphia Eagles are. Something's not right in Philadelphia. I'll take the Eagles to win by 3. Because I feel like that the Seahawks are reeling more than Philadelphia is. Seahawks lost 5 straight. I don't know.
I mean, I think
I'm not about owning anybody. You guys haven't owned the playoff win in 17 years. I'm just kidding, but you don't own anyone. Relax.
I mean, I can agree with that because the issues you may have with Philly is probably more issues in Seattle right now. So only because of that, I would agree. I'd probably take the Eagles as well. Even though I feel bad because I really want the Seahawks to do well for Geno Smith, but it's just like it seems like they just run out of gas. So I'll take the Eagles.
You're right. They did win 4 straight. Carson Wentz, 2 of them, I believe. Did they win one versus Jalen ever? Have they ever won one versus Jalen Hurts?
I don't know. Has he played them?
I don't know.
I don't think he has.
I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. I know he didn't play them last year. It would be 2 years ago when they went 9-8. Would they have played them? I don't know. The year they lost to the Bucks the first round of playoffs. Did they play them that year?
Yeah, they played them that year?
I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't think they did.
I mean, if you're talking about the last game they played each other, might have been the 2020 season when Carson Wentz was, or the 2019 season with Carson Wentz.
Got the Clowney headbutt in the playoffs?
No, that would be the season after the Clowney headbutt.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Eagles beat the Seahawks. I mean, I look at this game and I do think they're reeling more. I think the Eagles are reeling as well, but I just think the Eagles are going to regroup here. I mean, listen, Gene says he's wearing it for a funeral. I'm just wearing black because I like it. I think that the Eagles aren't dead in the water. I've had this feeling before. It was a different feeling for a different reason, but I thought the Eagles were dead in the water after losing Carson Wentz that year they won the Super Bowl. Not saying the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl this year, but I'm just saying NFL is a week-to-week league. If we rewind the tape through the previous weeks, there was a lot of teams we put out for dead. Just look at the Broncos for one. They might not make the playoffs, but they've reeled out 6 out of 7, and there's other teams too to point to that type of example. So
you're right in a sense that saying that like teams can still win football games. I think the Eagles can still win football games.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think you're wrong is when you think that team in Philadelphia, it's not, can we make the playoffs? That's not where we're at. We were in the Super Bowl last year. It's can they win the Super Bowl? And if you're telling me that you think this football team can win the Super Bowl, I don't agree with you. I don't think they can. And by the way, the last time the Philadelphia Eagles won a Super Bowl, I was on this show, not this show, but I was on all Facebook and saying the Eagles cannot win the Super Bowl at this exact moment. I said that. I'm not kidding. This is not a joke, right? One of my most embarrassing takes of all time. I said the Philadelphia Eagles should bench Nick Foles after the Raiders game and see what we have in our third string quarterback because Nick Foles doesn't have
it. I wish I knew you at the time. Yo, bro, I need you to calm the fuck down.
Dude, I'm not kidding, bro. You guys don't. I think you guys.
I mean, I get why you were saying that because they had such a crazy great season. You're like, it can't end this way. You just can't, right? I mean, yeah. But I get why.
My dad is sitting next to me in a Eagles urn, and it's midnight green Eagles urn. I posted it the other day, and like that's how much I love the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah. Also, I looked it up. Jalen Hurts has thrown one pass against the Seahawks. It was in 2020.
Yeah, so that was his rookie year. Carson Wentz played that game. They had Jalen Hurts come in. That was the year he had him in those weird, like, oh, we're going to have him run a freaking draw, and then we'll take Carson Wentz out and put him back in. Guys, we got to wrap up. We got 1 minute left. Sorry. Any final comments, anything that we have to talk about, anything that you guys want to say in the last 30 seconds?
Enjoy it. It's going to be a wild ride. There's going to be a lot of surprises this year in the last 4 weeks of the season.
Yes. I would say expect another week like last week, this week. I have a feeling the playoffs might be more of the same, especially in the AFC.
I like this overall breakdown of the NFL. It's a who's who each week. The AFC is completely wide open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see. I'm rooting against the Cowboys and the 49ers. Whoever can knock them off, I'll be super happy. I'll be okay not winning a Super Bowl as long as neither one of those two teams win it. Thank you guys for tuning in this week to Sideline to Sideline. I'm the NFL genius, Sheen Walzak. That is Taking It Deep with D. Godfrey. That's the Prince of Production, Kyle Edwards. And we are signing out. Justin Fields to Atlanta. Justin Fields to Atlanta. Justin Fields to Atlanta.